Hi, David.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us for
It's
the
a pleasure.
live stream. So I'm excited to talk to you. Talk to me a bit about Crunch-A-Mame, Edamame Puffs, if we can. I know that's a brand that you've been helping develop.
Yeah, that's right. Green Seed has been in business for about 20 years, and we focus our energies on early stage companies, and Crunch-A-Mame is one of those. It's a unique puff snack that's grown from organic edamame. It's a real seed to shelf type product and in a very high growth sector of the market. And what Green Seed tries to do is work alongside the entrepreneur to bring the idea to fruition and also take it out to the market.
Awesome. So tell us a bit about Green Seed and what you look for in brands.
Well, there's usually about 4 factors whenever I come across an entrepreneur. I think the first one is always the individual. What's their talent and capability? Do I see that that's somebody that I can work alongside? There has to be a little bit of chemistry there. The second thing is always the category. Are they playing in a space that's on trend? The third thing is always the brand, the idea that they have. Is it differentiated enough? Is it bringing a kind of a personality and a uniqueness to the market that consumers are going to lock with? And the fourth and most important thing is, does it taste good? We're in the food business at the end of the day, and it has to be something that I personally would enjoy and my family too.
Yeah, it is something people care about, I think, just a little bit. So what's maybe one thing that some of these brands tend to not prioritize that you think that they should when they're starting out?
Well, it's often the case, particularly with early stage companies, that they're very much in short-term mode. They're checking their bank balance, they're thinking about the customer orders, they're thinking about shipments. And one of the things that I try to encourage early on is some medium or long-term thinking. We try and get the entrepreneur away to think about, what's the long-term vision and mission for the company, what are the things that really make them passionate, give them an opportunity to think about their marketing and develop business plans as well. Think about 2020, 2021 now. What channels, which customers? Is your pricing set up for long-term success? Try and encourage them to think long and medium term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. And so tell us a bit about your time with Siggi's. Obviously that fed into how you got to Green Seed. I'd love to hear a bit about that journey.
Yeah, well, that was a typical situation where I just sold my veggie burger company back in 2006, and a friend of mine introduced me to Ziggy, who'd just come out of Columbia Business School, and he was literally making his yogurt in his kitchen and selling it at the Tribeca Green Market, and I worked alongside him to figure out how to commercialize the product. Green Seed helped him take his brand to Whole Foods and build his distribution across the country. We worked on packaging and formulations, the co-pack relationship, and the pricing. And I worked alongside Ziggy for more than 10 years, through the startup phase all the way through to the exit of the business to Lactalis last year, where I was one of the board directors. So it was one of those fantastic entrepreneurial journeys that started with a simple idea and a good tasting product, and went and built a really nice market share over an 11-year period.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, before that, you were with, like you mentioned, Corn Foods. Tell us about what you learned during that time as well, as it became a major player in the meat-free market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the thing that brought me to the USA 20 years ago. I'm now a New Yorker. I haven't quite got the New York accent, but I really remember those early entrepreneurial days and how difficult it was establishing a brand in the market. This was really before plant-based eating, so it was actually a very innovative product for its time. And what I remember, in those early stages was how complicated the marketplace was, the layers of distributors and what was the role of the broker and which channels and retailers. And there wasn't really a Green Seed. There was nobody there that was going to hold my hand and help me work my way through it. But luckily, I found some great consultants at the time. They helped me map out the market. They helped me establish my market entry strategy. And I realized that I needed to crawl before I walk, before I run. I had to really kind of figure out what my focused consumer and channel was and build some case studies of success. One of the things that I learned from early on that I try and encourage entrepreneurs to think about is when you're launching, think about just going an inch wide and a mile deep. Try and prove yourself on a narrow geography with a couple of retailers. Develop the formula of success before expanding the geography and taking on more customers. So those early, actually with some of the mistakes that I made early on, are really some of my key learnings that I took on to the Crunch Umami business, to the Bounce business, to the Tyrrell's Chips business, to the Ziggy's business. There's a lot of kind of learning through the years on how really to try and make some good steps into the market.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if you had a chance to go through the Snack Expo over there, but did you see any brands that stood out to you?
Oh, there's lots of great ideas.
Yeah.
It's almost overwhelming at times. Going to Expo West now or Expo East, there are thousands of brands. I heard that there are 35,000 new products that were launched in the last year, which must be overwhelming for buyers and brokers and distributors. But walking around the show today, it's quite a curated selection of products. There was a snack food called Rind, which I really like. It's a fruit-based product, but I like the idea of using the whole fruit, which I thought was very cool. There's some protein puffs that were very delicious as well, and there's just lots and lots of good stuff. So, but as I said, it's not just the product; it's the people behind it. Is the category moving forward, and is how differentiated is the branding? It's got to really shout out and be disruptive on the shelf. So it's a combination of things, but lots of good stuff I've seen.
Great. Well, David, thank you so much for being here with us. I love talking with you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much,
Thanks
Beth.
so much.
Bye-bye.